Right now, somewhere in your bathroom, there's a little jar with gold lettering on it. You probably paid more for that jar than you'd spend on a week of groceries. And the company that sold it to you is betting, quietly, confidently, that you will never once stop and ask what is actually inside it. Estée Lauder. The name your mother trusted. The name at the department store counter, under the warm lights, where a woman in a white coat leaned in and told you this one, this cream, this serum, was the one that would finally turn back the clock. Here is what I believe after weeks of going through ingredient lists, price tags, and the corporate paperwork almost nobody reads. You are not being sold skincare. You are being sold a feeling. And in my opinion, women over 50 are paying for that feeling at a markup that starts to feel like getting robbed. Not robbed with a weapon. Robbed with a slogan. Robbed with packaging. Robbed with the word anti-aging printed in a font that costs you $300. So, before you buy one more gold jar, watch this all the way through. Because I'm going to count down the brands in this one company's empire that I think are the biggest waste of your hard-earned money. And a couple of them are going to make some of you angry. I already know it. Then stay with me to the end because I'm going to show you exactly what I'd buy instead. Including one brand that does almost everything those luxury labels promise for the price of a sandwich. And the twist is, the same company owns that one too. But first, do me a favor. Comment below and tell me right now which of these gold jar brands is sitting in your bathroom cabinet as you watch this. Just the name. I want to see how many of us got pulled in by the exact same thing. Here's what most women never realize. When you walk that beauty floor, and you think you're choosing Clinique here, Estée Lauder there, the fancy Lauder over in the corner, maybe a little Bobbi Brown. You're not choosing at all. You're standing inside one company. The Estée Lauder companies owns all of it. Clinique, Lauder, MAC, Origins, Bobbi Brown, Aveda, Jo Malone, Tom Ford Beauty, Too Faced, Smashbox, Dr. Jart Plus, brand after brand after brand, dressed up to look like rivals, all reporting to the same boardroom, all built on the same playbook. The illusion of choice is the first thing they sell you. And the women they aim at hardest? It's you. It's women over 50 who've been told year after year by every magazine and every ad that getting older is a problem you're supposed to fight. That your face is a battle. That if you just spend enough, you can win. For women on a fixed income, that pressure is brutal. For women who've loyally bought the same jar for 20 or 30 years, it's personal. So let's count it down. From the brands I think you're overpaying for, all the way to the one I find the most outrageous of all. Number 7. Origins. The green one. The one with the leaf on it. The one that smells like a spa. And a forest had a baby. Origins built its whole identity on a single word. Natural. Plant-powered. Earth-friendly. The brand your daughter probably handed you because it felt cleaner, gentler, safer than the chemical-sounding stuff. But here's the thing I want you to sit with. Natural is not a regulated promise. It is a vibe. It is marketing. There is no rule that says natural means better for your skin, and dermatologists will tell you the opposite is often true. Some of the most common irritants for mature, thinning skin are the botanical extracts and essential oils that make a product smell like a meadow. Poison ivy is natural too. The leaf on the jar is doing emotional work, not scientific work. And you're paying a premium for that leaf. That's the mechanism here. They charge you extra for the feeling of purity, while the actual formula may be no kinder to your 50-plus skin than something half the price with a boring label. For women with sensitive, reactive skin, that's not just a waste of money. It can be a waste that flares you up. A pretty word, a premium price, a promise nobody's checking. And believe me, the next one hides behind something that sounds even more trustworthy. Number 6. Clinique. Oh, I can feel some of you tensing up already. The little pale green compact. Allergy tested, Fragrance-free. The three-step system your mother followed like scripture. Soap, that strange tingly toner. The yellow lotion. Clinique practically invented the idea of skincare that sounds like medicine. And that, in my opinion, is exactly the trick. Dermatologist developed. Allergy tested. Those phrases are designed to make you feel like you're buying something clinical, something prescribed, something serious. But a lot of those words don't mean nearly as much as they sound like they mean. Plenty of brands at a fraction of the price are tested the same way, and just don't put it in a slogan. You're standing at a department store counter, paying counter prices for formulas that beauty insiders will quietly tell you are perfectly fine, and almost identical in function to what's sitting on the shelf at your local drugstore for a third of the cost. Clinique isn't a bad product. That's not my argument. My argument is that you are paying a prestige tax for the reassurance of that white coat feeling. And the reassurance is the product. For women who've trusted that three-step ritual for decades, that's a hard thing to hear. Decent skincare, department store price, drugstore science. And the next one took that same idea and slapped a science fiction name on it. Number 5. Dr. Jart Plus, the newer one. The one that came in on the Korean beauty wave with the sleek tubes and the little plus sign. The one that sounds like it was formulated by an actual doctor in an actual lab. Cica creams, ceramide this, barrier repair that. It feels like the future of skincare. Here's my honest read. The doctor in the name and the medical styling are doing a lot of heavy lifting for a brand that sells you ingredients. Ceramides, centella, niacinamide, that are wonderful and also genuinely cheap. Sold everywhere in products that cost a fraction of what you're paying for the sleek packaging. K-Beauty Actives went mainstream years ago. You can get the exact same heroes in a plain tube for a few dollars. What you're paying extra for, in my view, is the lab coat aesthetic and the prestige shelf. A doctor's name? A drugstore ingredient. A luxury bill. And if you think a fancy name is the worst of it, wait until you see what's just makeup with a markup. Number 4. Bobbi Brown. And here's a fact almost nobody who buys it knows. Bobbi Brown, the actual woman, the makeup artist who built her name on natural, real skin beauty for grown women, left the company years ago. She walked away. But her name? Her name stays on the jar. The company kept it because the name sells, even with the founder long gone. You are buying a signature from someone who no longer has anything to do with what's in the package. That's not a secret scandal. It's just how these empires work. The founder is a logo now. And makeup is where the markup gets almost comical, because a prestige nude lipstick and a drugstore nude lipstick are often coming out of very similar factories with very similar pigments. You're paying for the case, the counter, and a name that already left the building. A famous founder. A formula she didn't make. A premium you didn't need to pay. But the next two are where, in my opinion, it stops being a markup and starts being something I genuinely can't defend. Number 3. The flagship itself. Estée Lauder. The brown bottle. Advanced night repair. Renutriv in the heavy gold packaging that feels important the second you hold it. This is the crown jewel. This is the brand that taught the whole industry how to sell hope in a bottle to women who were told their best face was behind them. And this is where I want to talk about the word that runs the entire machine. Anti-aging. Think about what that word is actually doing to you. Anti, against. As if your own face, the face that raised kids and built a life and earned every single line, is the enemy. We use anti for things we're scared of. Antivirus, antifungal, anti-theft. The beauty industry quietly trained you to put your own aging in that same category. Something to fear. Something to fight. Something to spend against, forever, because the war never ends. And a war that never ends is a customer who never stops paying. It got so blatant that even mainstream beauty magazines started backing away from the term years ago, because critics had spent decades pointing out that it's fear marketing aimed straight at women, and aimed hardest at women over 50. Here's the part they don't put on the box. A cosmetic, legally by definition, is not allowed to change the structure of your skin. The really powerful, proven anti-wrinkle ingredient is a prescription-strength retinoid, and I'll get to the affordable version of that in a minute. What you're buying in that heavy gold jar, in my honest opinion, is the most expensive version of moisturizer and marketing ever assembled. A beautiful bottle, a frightened customer, a promise a cream legally cannot keep. And if you want to know how far this can go, look at the brand sitting at number 1. But before I get there, comment and tell me, honestly, did you always suspect, somewhere in the back of your mind, that you were paying for the jar and the name and not for what's actually inside? Be honest. I think more of us knew than want to admit it. Now, number 2, and I'm putting this here on purpose because it's the one that proves my whole point about animal welfare, which a lot of you have asked me to talk about. The Estée Lauder companies, the parent of all these brands, is not certified cruelty-free by the 2 organizations that actually verify it, PETA and Leaping Bunny. Years ago, PETA removed Estée Lauder from its cruelty-free list. Why? Because the company sells in markets, mainland China among them, where animal testing on imported cosmetics has been required by law. And the company's own animal testing statement acknowledges that its brands are sold where that testing can still be required. So when you buy Clinique, when you buy MAC, when you buy that brown bottle, that money flows up to a parent company that, by the standard of the people who actually check this, cannot call itself cruelty-free. For the many women I hear from who care deeply about this, who switched brands specifically to avoid it, that one stings. A gentle image, a harsh reality, a label that won't say the word. And now, the one at the very top. Number 1. La Mer, the crème de la mer. The little white jar that, in its largest sizes, can cost you more than a used car payment. And even the small, classic 2-ounce jar runs you around $345. $345 for moisturizer. The legend is the Miracle Broth, a fermented sea kelp blend the brand says took years to perfect. A secret formula, an almost mystical promise of renewal. And here is why it's number 1. Because for years now, on Reddit, on beauty forums, in TikTok videos, in articles written by beauty editors with decades of experience, people have been holding up a jar of plain Nivea cream, the blue tin you can buy at any drugstore for a few dollars, and pointing out that the core ingredients overlap to a degree that's honestly hard to believe. The rich base of La Mer is built on the same kind of common moisturizing ingredients found in creams that cost almost nothing. Occlusives and emollients that are not rare and not expensive. Even the fermentation story isn't the breakthrough it's sold as. Korean skincare has used fermented ingredients for years. As one beauty writer who's tested everything put it, the real superstars in that jar aren't the sea kelp. They're branding and exclusivity. It's the Tiffany blue box of skincare. You're not paying for the cream. You're paying for the story. And the story is the most expensive ingredient of all. Now I know. I'm about to make some of you absolutely furious, putting La Mer at number 1. There are women who swear it's the only thing that ever worked for them, who defend that little white jar to their last breath. If that's you, I want to hear it. Come fight me in the comments and tell me I'm wrong. Because here's what I think is really happening. When you spend $300 on something, your brain refuses to believe it didn't work. It can't. That would mean you got robbed. So you see results. And the company is counting on that too. A famous broth, a few dollar dupe, a $300 story. So go look. Right now, pause this, walk to your bathroom, and look at what's actually in there. If you've got the gold jars and the little white pot, I don't want you to feel stupid. You were not stupid. You were marketed to buy the best in the business for decades, with a budget bigger than some countries. That's not a fair fight. But here's the good news, and this is the part that actually matters. There are products that do the real work, that dermatologists genuinely recommend, that cost a fraction of what you've been paying. You just have to know where to look. So let me show you what I'd put my own money on. First, and this is the big one, the actual proven anti-wrinkle ingredient, a retinoid. Vitamin A. Dermatologists call it the gold standard for fine lines and wrinkles. Full stop. And they've called it that for decades. Because unlike a luxury moisturizer, it has real evidence behind it for boosting collagen and speeding up skin cell turnover. And here's the kicker. You can walk into any drugstore and buy a retinol from brands like Rossi or Neutrogena for under $20 or $30. There's even a true prescription-grade retinoid, adapalene, that used to require a doctor and is now sitting right there on the shelf for around $15. $15. For the ingredient the $300 jar wishes it had. Real science, real results, real cheap. That's what doing the work looks like. Second, and this is the twist I promised you, The Ordinary. The little brand with the plain white labels and the chemistry class names that looks like it was designed by an accountant. Single ingredient serums, niacinamide, retinol, hyaluronic acid, most of them in the single digits or low teens, dollar-wise. And here's what'll get you. The Ordinary is owned by the exact same Estée Lauder companies. Same parent, same empire. The difference is that this one decided to just charge you a fair price and skip the fairy tale. Which tells you everything, doesn't it? They are absolutely capable of selling you an effective active ingredient for $6. They just usually choose to sell you the story for $300 instead. Transparent labels, honest prices, same owner, different game. Third, a simple ceramide moisturizer, something like CeraVe. Yes, it's owned by a big company too, I won't pretend otherwise. But it was developed with dermatologists. It's built on barrier-repairing ceramides that mature skin genuinely needs, and it'll run you around $15 or $20 instead of $200. Big company, fair price, no story tax. That's the whole point. You're allowed to buy from a giant, just stop paying the giant for a fantasy. And fourth, the single most powerful anti-aging product on earth, the one no luxury counter pushes very hard because they can't charge $300 for it. Sunscreen. Daily SPF. The overwhelming majority of what we call aging in the skin, the spots, the leathery texture, a huge share of the lines, comes from sun damage built up over a lifetime. A good broad-spectrum sunscreen does more for your face than any gold jar ever will, and it costs less than lunch. Cheap, boring, backed by more science than the whole luxury aisle combined. And if you want the cherry on top, that blue tin of Nivea the beauty editors keep holding up next to the $300 La Mer. It's a few dollars. I'm not telling you it's identical. I'm telling you a lot of very experienced people can't find $300 worth of difference. Make of that what you will. So let's be clear about what this whole thing really is. Origin sold you a leaf. Clinique sold you a lab coat. Dr. Jart Plus sold you a doctor's name on a drugstore ingredient. Bobbi Brown sold you a signature from someone who already left. The Brown Bottle sold you a war against your own face. And La Mer sold you a $300 bedtime story. None of it was about your skin. All of it was about your fear and your loyalty. And the markup they could build on top of both. You were not buying skincare. You were buying a feeling. And the feeling cost you a fortune. So now I really want to know. And be honest with me. Are you going to go toss the gold jar in the trash? Or are you going to keep using it anyway? Because you love it. Because it's yours. And you don't care what I think? There's no wrong answer. But tell me below. Because I read every single one of these, and I want to know where you land. And while you're down there, which brand did I leave out? Which one have you secretly thought was overhyped and overpriced for years, and you've just been waiting for someone to say it out loud? Drop the name. And tell me who you want me to put under the microscope next, because your suggestions are exactly how I pick these. Last time you all sent me down a rabbit hole I never expected. If this opened your eyes even a little, if you're looking at your bathroom shelf differently than you were 15 minutes ago, do me a favor and hit subscribe, because we do this every single week. We pull back the curtain on the brands betting you'll never ask questions, and we find you the honest stuff that actually works without the luxury lie. Give it a like so more women over 50 find it, and tap the bell so you don't miss the next one. Because next time, we're going after the clean beauty brands. The ones charging you triple for the word clean, with claims that fall apart the second you read the back of the box. You are not going to believe who's behind some of them. You've earned every line on your face, and you've earned the truth about what you're putting on it. Don't let anyone sell you fear in a pretty jar. This is Beauty After 50, where we age on our own terms, and we never, ever overpay for the privilege. I'll see you in the next one.